It's been a genuinely rough week. Not catastrophic. Just this slow, grinding kind where you forget things, snap at people you don't mean to snap at, and somehow your black jeans have accumulated what can only be described as a full additional layer of dog fur. You haven't lint rolled them. You've stopped trying. You forgot the walk 2 days in a row. You've been running on bad coffee and worse decisions, and you are not, by any reasonable metric, at your best. And your dog? Your dog is currently doing slow, deliberate tippy taps across the floor toward you, with an expression that communicates with complete clarity, I have chosen you. I am not revisiting this decision. No conditions, no assessment of your performance this week. Just the full, warm, slightly too heavy weight of them pressing against your leg, that Frito paw smell drifting up quietly from somewhere near your feet, and the absolute unhurried certainty that you are where they want to be. We say dogs are loyal. We say it constantly, like it's settled, like we understand it. We rarely stop to ask what that loyalty actually cost them. Here's the version most of us carry around. Dog loyalty is simple, instinctive, almost automatic. Dogs were domesticated, they imprinted on humans, they bond to whoever holds the leash and fills the bowl. Loyalty as a factory setting, sweet, uncomplicated, requiring very little examination. And look, some of that holds, loosely, for some dogs, short paws. Huskies are loyal to their own agenda, primarily. Beagles are loyal to whatever smell is currently winning their attention. But most dogs practice something that looks a lot less like a default instinct and a lot more like actual deliberate devotion. The factory setting story is comfortable. It's also missing the entire architecture underneath. Dog loyalty is basically hardwired. They bond to whoever feeds them, whoever provides resources. It's evolutionary. Actually, no. Stop. I was going to let that slide and just move on, but I can't. That model was challenged and largely dismantled by behavioral research in the early 2000s, and we keep using it anyway because it's tidy and it doesn't ask anything uncomfortable of us. Here's the problem. If loyalty were purely resource-based, dogs would transfer attachment cleanly when ownership changed. You'd rehome a dog into an objectively better environment, more space, more walks, more treats, and they'd just update, adapt, redirect. Research consistently shows they don't. Grief responses, behavioral disruption, attachment dysregulation. These follow rehoming even when the new situation is measurably better by every practical metric. The food bowl theory of loyalty isn't just incomplete. It misses the emotional architecture entirely. So what is it actually? Canine loyalty isn't a behavior, it's a neurological state, a sustained attachment orientation toward a specific individual that persists independent of resource provision. Dr. Julian Kaminsky's research at the University of Portsmouth on dog-human social cognition found that dogs have developed uniquely specialized neural pathways for reading, tracking, and emotionally orienting toward individual humans. Pathways that don't exist in wolves. Weren't present in pre-domestication canids. They develop specifically in relation to us. You know that thing your dog does where they track your movement around a room without moving their body, just their eyes following you from the corner, slow and deliberate? Pause. That's not casual. That's the loyalty system running quietly in the background. All day. Every day. A sustained, low-level orientation toward you specifically, running like background software they never close. And here's where it gets heavy. Loyalty at this neurological depth means your dog has organized a significant portion of their emotional world around you. Their stress responses, their baseline sense of safety, their capacity to explore, recover, feel okay, all of it is calibrated to your presence as a reference point. Which means every late night, every canceled walk, every time you were physically in the room but completely elsewhere in your head, they felt the gap. Not as punishment, not as resentment, just as absence in a system that was built entirely around your presence. Look directly at camera. Pause. That's not guilt bait. I'm not trying to make you feel terrible. That's just the honest shape of what they've given you, the full shape of it. There's a 2019 fMRI study, awake, trained dogs' actual neuroimaging that found the scent of their owner activated the caudate nucleus, the brain's reward center, more reliably than food, toys, or unfamiliar humans. Your smell is neurologically registered as a reward, not metaphorically. Structurally, That corn chip Frito paw smell you love on them? Pause, your smell does something structurally identical in their brain. The long-term loyalty bond also produces measurable oxytocin system restructuring over time. Their neurochemistry literally reorganizes around the primary attachment figure. You are, at a chemical level, one of the best things that happens to them on any given day. On the bad days too. On the days you forgot the walk. On the jeans covered in fur days, still you, still categorized as reward. Early proto-domestic dogs probably bonded to human groups, not individuals. The hyper-personalized, person-specific loyalty modern dogs display, the kind that survives rehoming trauma, that shows up as grief when you're gone for a week, that persists through owner illness, that's a relatively recent evolutionary development. Accelerated across roughly 15,000 years of selective breeding toward human companionship specifically. Somewhere in that process, dogs stopped being pack animals and became something closer to dedicated, fur-covered, zoomies-capable specialists in loving one specific person, which is either the most beautiful thing evolutionary biology has ever produced or a tremendous amount of pressure, depending on what kind of week you're having. The popular framing of dog loyalty, in content, in books, in training culture, tends toward the inspirational. Dogs as models of unconditional love, as spiritual teachers, as proof that forgiveness is possible and presence is enough, and honestly, that's not wrong, but it flattens something genuinely complex into a greeting card. Hold up a thoroughly destroyed throw pillow. This dog chewed through $40 of soft furnishings last Tuesday. He had a full set of appropriate chew toys available. He chose the pillow. His loyalty is not a metaphor. It's a messy, inconvenient, fur everywhere, occasionally destructive daily reality. And that's actually what makes it mean something. The greeting card version asks nothing of you. The real version shows up in your living room and eats your pillow. I didn't want to include this section. It sat in my notes for a week, but leaving it out would have made the rest of the video dishonest, so pause, here it is. The same neurological depth that makes dog loyalty profound also makes dogs uniquely vulnerable to its disruption. Dr. Karen Overall, a veterinary behaviorist whose clinical work on canine emotional trauma is some of the most important in the field, has documented measurable psychological impact in dogs whose loyalty systems are deeply engaged. From rehoming, from loss, from owner mental health deterioration, from sustained emotional unavailability, the attachment is real, which means its disruption is real. That's not a small thing. Their love is not armored, it's open, completely. So what do you do with that? I'm not going to give you a listicle. I have one thing. Hold up phone, set it face down deliberately. One distraction-free hour. Not a structured hike, not a formal training session. Just you actually there, actually present. Not half somewhere else on your phone. Their nervous system will register the difference before you've been sitting still for 90 seconds. The research on canine stress response and owner attunement is clear on this. Dogs are not measuring your best days. They are measuring your reliability, your consistent, repeated, recognizable presence over time. That's what the nervous system is tracking. Back to the beginning. Bad week. Missed walks. 4 layers of fur on the jeans. And a dog doing deliberate tippy taps across the floor toward you with complete, unhurried certainty. The loyalty was never contingent on your performance. It was built on the simple, repeated, consistent fact of you showing up, being recognizable, being the person their entire nervous system has quietly, completely learned to call home. And the question we planted at the start, what does loyalty like this actually cost them? Everything they have. Offered without ledger, without invoice, without any guarantee you'd ever fully understand the value of what was being handed to you, quietly. They didn't decide to be loyal to the best version of you. They decided to be loyal to all of it. Every single ordinary, imperfect, fur-covered, slightly chaotic day. Honest question, and you genuinely don't have to go deep if you don't want to, but what's something your dog just let go of? Something you felt guilty about, something you were still carrying, and they were completely over it before you even finished apologizing? Drop it in the comments. This one I actually want to read. And if you want to go deeper on the science of how dogs experience time, separation, and memory, that one's next. It's stranger and more emotional than you'd expect. See you there.